Okay, we are recording. Hold on. Letting in the second Brittany. Okay, so Mayor, are you with us? I know you were trying to set up the live stream.
I am here. Hello. Thank you, Sarah.
If you will, give some opening remarks if you would like.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Nice to see everybody, and thank you for joining us on such short notice. I am very excited that we're together again for our final LPC meeting so that we can discuss our slate of projects, discuss some of the proposed changes, and get all of our projects ready to be submitted to the governor for final decision. This is very exciting, and I want to thank Sarah and Julie and all of our partners in Albany for all the work that they've been doing on our behalf during COVID. And I thank everyone here for being healthy and taking the healthy steps to move our community forward in a positive way. So thank you so much for that. I think that we're ready to get this meeting started. I think we're all anxious to see what the changes are and determine, what those next steps are so we can move these projects forward and get us ready for the next phase of the DRI process. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Councilor Don Patrick for a few words, and then we'll turn it back over to Sarah.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone again. Been a while. Thank you, Sarah and Julie, for keeping in constant touch. Like the mayor said, we're excited to move this project ahead. It's been a while, so I'm going to remind everybody with the preamble, LPC members, each local planning committee member is reminded of their obligation to disclose potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the projects that may be discussed today. If you have a potential conflict of interest regarding a project you believe will be discussed during the meeting, please disclose it now and recuse yourself from any discussion or vote about that project. Do any members need to make a disclosure? I guess we're ready to go.
Great. Mike Treadwell, do you want to say anything? I know you haven't been to the last couple of meetings. We welcome you very much to be here today. If you would like to say anything, please unmute yourself. If not, I will get started. You should be good. Oh, nope, you're muted again.
I hit the button twice. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I certainly appreciate it. I want to compliment the mayor and the city and the LPC and all you guys for all the great work you've done. And while I was out taking a little vacation from work, anyway, I think just my opinion in terms of what I've seen and the information you updated me on the other day, Sarah, is I think there's been a lot of great work. There's a lot of great projects. It's very exciting for the city of Fulton and Oswego County to have one of our main entranceway into the county dress itself up and present itself and create some new jobs for the community. So very excited. We're moving in to the fourth turn of the race. So
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. So before I start my PowerPoint, I would like to do a roll call just to ensure that I have everyone's attendance. Again, you're going to need to mute yourself to say here, but I appreciate it ahead of time. Thank you. Mayor Michaels?
Present.
And Counselor Patrick, I guess you're in the same location. I know you're both here. Mike Treadwell, we just heard from you. Carolyn, are you here? Carolyn Chatterton?
I'm here.
We have Jeff Coakley. Okay.
It looks like Jeff is here, but his audio has still been trying to connect since the beginning of the meeting. So I believe that that's Jeff Coakley down there with audio trying to connect.
I did say that I see that it was Jeff, so I will assume that's a yes. Kristen Collins.
I'm here.
Kim Doyle. Kim. Brian Durant. Linda Egan.
On the boat.
Thank you. Jim.
I'm here.
Nancy. Nancy Fox. Sorry, I forgot we got multiple Nancys.
I'm here.
Leah Haggerty. Okay, there's a wave. Brittany.
Here.
David and Marie.
We're both here.
We're here.
Mike Pollock, I got you earlier. Brian Polvino.
Here.
Same. Mark Southwick.
Hello, everybody.
Tina Stevens.
I'm here.
Katie Toomey.
Hello.
David Turner. I thought he was here because he typed in the chat.
He's here.
Okay. And Nancy Weber.
Here.
And Robert Weston.
Here.
From the consultant team, you have me, Sarah Oral. I apologize that it says I'm Kevin McAndrew on the participant list. The real Kevin McAndrew is also on, as is Dave Tepper. And I do see that Julie from the state is on the call. I'm sure she'll join in as she sees fit. Thank you everybody again for coming to this meeting. I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. And we'll go through a little PowerPoint to explain why we are here. Could everybody see my screen? If someone could just unmute yourself. Yeah, oh, I got thumbs up from Robert. Okay. Let's move forward. Okay, so today's agenda, we just did a lovely introduction from the mayor, the councilman, Mike, and myself. The reason we're having this meeting is there are approximately 4 projects that have, we spoke to all of the project sponsors after COVID-19 happened and everyone was affected by that. And we wanted to confirm all the projects that they would be moving forward. And there were 4 projects that in one way or another were, there are some proposed changes. So we'd like to go over those since it's not the exact same slate that you guys voted on a couple months ago. So just to go through the projects that you have recommended for funding, this chart is on multiple slides and the project costs and DRI recommendation have been rounded to the nearest 1,000. So the numbers may be slightly different than you remember, but none of the percentages have changed. This was just a request from the state for procedural reasons. So the highlighted projects that you'll see are the ones that we will be discussing today. So if you remember, we had the Marina Waterfront Revitalization, Oswego Health Urgent Care, 481 pedestrian improvements, the YMCA, 533 South 4th Street, Oswego County IDA Manufacturing Building, the Fulton Multi-Use Trail System, the Fulton Grant Fund, Hutamaki Packaging Upgrades, Gateway Square, CNY Community Art Center Phase 3, Fulton Public Library renovations, fiber optics Wi-Fi for the downtown area, Kings Road Inn and Coffee Shop, fast casual restaurant, which is, I always forget the name. It was the old pizza place that's standalone on 481. 310, 312 Division Street, Fulton Historic District and Downtown Marketing, zoning updates, and then a newly created project called Downtown Vibe, which originally consisted of 6 smaller projects that were located in close proximity to each other that everyone agreed they all had synergistic improvements for each other if they were to all be done at once. So the total project cost for the previously approved slate is $32,448,000 worth of project costs, while the recommended DRI funding is $12,922,000. As a reminder, there's only $9.7 million of funding that the state will be dispersing among projects. So there's some wiggle room in there for the state to determine which projects they prefer. So I'd like to go through the different projects and what is changing on them of the 4 that were highlighted in that prior list. I do ask that if you have something to say, you can unmute yourself and start speaking. I am unable to see the participants list at this time, so I won't be able to call on you, but I think we'll be able to keep this pretty neat. I'm gonna go through the 4 projects, and then afterwards I'm gonna open it to discussion. So right now, if everybody could just listen to what the changes are, and then, hold on 1 second. We'll go through what the changes are, and then we will all speak. Oop, I did not mean to do that. Okay, so the first project is the grant fund. The grant fund was originally proposed to help with smaller projects or projects not funded through the DRI to help them get done within the DRI boundary. The prior cap on the DRI request for that was $600,000. Due to the impacts of COVID-19, the state is allowing the fund to increase to $750,000. So it is proposed to increase that fund to $750,000 so that more local businesses can be helped. And the type of projects that would be covered by the fund would be increased to include COVID-19 recovery and resiliency needs, including PPE. The next project that we're going to discuss is Gateway Square. The owner of the Gateway Square property, Adam Avery. If you remember, Gateway Square is the big green monster. The original proposal was to knock down that building and create open green space on that property. The project has since been modified to keep the roof and the interior of the building. Well, okay, I'll describe this a different way. Remove all the walls of the building, keep the structural elements, and replace the roof, and create a pavilion of sorts that would provide parking for the surrounding uses, as well as some event space. And then all of the asphalt portions of the property, which is pretty much the rest of the property right now, would be converted to open green space. So it's a slight change in use of the original project. The original project was knocking down the building, creating green space and some additional parking. And this is just utilizing the bones of the existing building, but not the exterior that everyone agrees is a eyesore, and creating parking and open space. And there's no change in budget for these changes. The budget is the same. The next project is the Canal View Mall requested to be removed from consideration after COVID-19. So this would be removing the physical therapy building from the Downtown Vibe project, which would actually reduce the DRI request by $30,000. because that was how much would be attributed to that project. And then the fourth project, this is the biggest one that I'm sure there will be a lengthy discussion on. 533 South 4th Street, AKA the big pink building, AKA Building 30. The original proposal was to have a phased project, and they originally submitted just for one phase of the project. The end result is the same use. It would be a mixed-use building with a mix of apartments, commercial space, professional offices. But the project sponsor has requested that the project be considered in total. So they would like to do the project all at once, which raises the project total to $12 million. And they have increased their DRI request to $2 million, which is approximately 17% of the total project cost. You could see on the bottom row, that's an increase in project cost of over 7 million and an increase in the DRI request for approximately 1 million. So if all of these projects occurred as proposed, again, we're going to be discussing this. This is just showing you the comparison from the original project cost and DRI fund request, what the updated DRI fund request would be, and then the increase in the increase in DRI funds. So the DRI fund recommendation would go up to 14.1 million if the projects are approved as proposed. So I would like to open this up to discussion, and I would like to go to ask Brian Polvino first if you have any comments, because I know you need to leave in about 8 minutes, and I would like your thoughts included, and then we'll open the discussion to the rest of the floor.
Thank you. I think I don't have any additional costs. I'm just trying to tear any additional thoughts, just taking it all in right now. So just thank you.
Are you amenable to the proposed changes?
I am. I'd like to hear what others thinking, but at this point I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Actually, it might be easier if I leave the screen share for a second and I could come back to it after, just so that I'll be able to look and see if anybody has written in the chat. Again, if anybody would like to discuss any of these projects, please unmute yourself and let us know. You can also type in the chat box and I will read those out loud. And I could always pull up the screen again if you'd like to see the figures.
It's the mayor. I'd like to just take a few minutes and talk to everyone about these proposed changes. So I've been working with the project sponsors for months now, and I'm really happy to report that through all of the changes, we only had one project that was not able to follow through and stay committed to the DRI. And that project came off. But as far as the rest of them, we were able to keep all the projects in, which I think is a real victory, a real win, considering all that's happened with COVID. That being said, because of COVID, there were some proposed changes, for instance, as we call it, the big green monster. And we talked to them about, new renderings. And I don't think, Sarah, we don't have those, I think you said, but we understood the need for the change. Obviously, with the financial impact that it's had to some businesses, they're still committed to the city of Fulton and still committed to this DRI project, but they had to make some changes that made sense for their bottom line, and that's what they did. And I think the project is still a very healthy project. It's a significant improvement from what it is now. It just needed to be adjusted to be able to fit their budget, if you will, and what they want to accomplish. So I certainly think it'll be a huge improvement. It won't be an eyesore. It'll still show great improvement to the gateway to the city. As far as some of the other projects go, certainly there's one very large ask that, you know, we really have to consider, and we know that we're asking a lot of the LPC. It's quite a jump. I think that the project's going to be an amazing project, and again, due to COVID, they were originally, and this is Building 30, and Chris Pisani and his team, they were originally looking at this building to include some office space, but due to COVID, we all know that office space really isn't in high demand like it was maybe pre-COVID. So they're looking at adding more market rate housing to that building and retail space on the bottom. So they've come back to us and asked us to consider a larger ask, as opposed to doing a phase one, to doing an ask for the entire project. And that's where they're coming from on that. So that's really what those two projects entail. As far as the loan grant fund, I think it's very exciting, and I am very appreciative of the state for allowing us to consider some relief funds, if you will, or some COVID dollars to help businesses who are going to need that to be in compliance with COVID regulations and guidelines. So I think that $150,000 is really a no-brainer to increase that ask. The state is recommending that we consider that, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to provide more businesses more opportunity for funding. So we've been working on that, like I said, for months, and I couldn't be happier to report that we only have one small project that wasn't able to continue. But to have the entire slate move forward, I think is a real testament to all the hard work that was done here, all the hard work that Sarah and her team and the state have put in, and just how significant a project this DRI is to the city of Fulton. So hopefully we can move these forward for our final public session, which will be scheduled here in a few weeks, and present that final slate of projects.
Would anybody else like to comment on any of the projects? Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, or I'm just hopping in there quick, Sarah. I think that the idea of usable outdoor space is going to be a great asset to the community. I think we're all very much aware of the fact that this is not going anywhere, and outdoor space will be needed for social distancing and general activities to take place here in the pseudo near future. And I'm happy to see that that is moving forward.
And I would like to, again, I don't know if it was clearly conveyed, when I said there would be event space under the roof, it is open space because there are no walls on that structure. So the roof would be 3 stories up,
Yep.
But there you would be able to be protected from the elements if you wanted to have some outdoor events on a rainy day.
Like a farmer's market, perhaps.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. And there would be parking there to support those attending the farmer's market.
Sarah,
Yes?
is the masonry building on that parcel staying, or is that being removed?
I believe the plan is to just keep the main building and remove everything else from the site.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have the aerial in front of me, so I did not realize there were more than one building, but I believe the thought is to just keep the main building and remove everything else. Anybody else have any comments?
It's me. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, or am I still
Yes.
muted? Okay. All right. I'm just trying to remember about how we've appropriated money for downtown and I agree with Brittany's comment about, I like the fact of downtown vibe. I think we need to make sure that we focus on that. And I'm all for, doing whatever we can do with Building 30. I think that what it means is that by them asking for larger money, that now our total ask goes up, which means then when the state looks at those projects and how they're going to allocate funds, if they choose to want to fund that project, it means then there's less funds possibly to go for some of the smaller things. So I just want to be sure that we don't, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. It's just a thought that, we're asking for more money. That means there's going to be less to go around when they cut it down and start dividing it up among everybody, however that's going to happen. So I just, it's quite a substantial increase, I think, in what we were wanting to put forward to the state in the original plan.
And I think that's a great point, Nancy. And I think it's fair to mention, Sarah, at this point that the project's still going to move forward. They're still committed to the project. They just want to look at a full phase instead of just a phase one. But we can certainly come back and say that we are still committed to including the original ask in the project and remaining, and it remaining in the project at that level. So we certainly have that option. It's not as if we don't vote that in, that they're pulling the whole project out. They will not. They'll still stay in at a phase one, or perhaps they'll stay in at the whole entire project, correct, Sarah? But they just are asking.
I'll go back to them to confirm if the LPC decides to keep the funding at the 916,000 level. I will go back and see how they would like it presented in the plan. But the end result is the same, whether it's phased or a full project. The property owner is committed to redoing that property. I'm sorry, I got an email from Jim that I just wanted to look at, but it's not loading on my phone. He just left. Okay, never mind. I was going to ask if you wanted to say something, but he left. Okay, so does anybody else want to say anything? Because I am going to be not putting you on the spot, but because this last project is such a large change, we will be doing a roll call vote to see where everybody stands, to ensure that everybody's thoughts are documented, and if further discussion is needed after that, we could have that discussion. Actually, you know what we could do first?
Hello?
Yes?
Sarah?
Yes.
Hi, Dave Turner. I have a question I'd like to ask of either Mike or Julie. Will the state come back and say, we've selected this project and not, project A and not project B? Or would they come back potentially and say, we like all of these, and instead of funding at this level, we're proposing to fund at a reduced level so that we can get more projects in? Will there be some kind of negotiation at the end to see if we can get everybody, or is it going to be some winners and some losers? Or maybe a combination of both?
Julie, I don't know if you're able to speak. You could cut me off if you are. I believe it's winners and losers. I believe what we present in the strategic investment plan is what is presented to the state, and the state reviews those projects and then selects which ones they would like to go forward. I do not believe that there is a negotiation.
It's my understanding the same, that what the slate of projects that we propose, that the LPC makes the final decision on, they're gonna make decisions per project. It's not gonna be up to negotiation back and forth after that. So we have to really be confident in the projects that we're proposing, because it's either the project is thumbs up or thumbs down. And I have not, in all of our discussions, and Don, correct me if I'm wrong, but talked about any negotiating strategy once those projects are sent to the governor's office. He'll pick what projects that he wants to see move forward. And then we look at the other projects as possible candidates for the loan grant fund.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That loan
So
grant fund. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Yeah. So they wouldn't come back and say, we're funding everything, but we've reduced each one a little bit to make sure we got everybody in.
No. In the past, the projects that, I don't know how the state chooses their projects, but I'm sure they have, Julie can't unmute, but that's correct. We would fund projects at amounts requested until we reach the end of available funding and may have to reduce the final project.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Can I mention a few other things that are going on, Sarah, with other projects that are going to be mentioned but not considered for approval at this slate? Just so people understand kind of what's going on
To get a picture of that area.
Yeah, as a whole. So we do have some, we're in discussions right now on the Nestle's property, and we do have the Oswego County IDA building moving forward, which we're very thankful for. And Mike, we look forward to working with you and your team more on that. So that project is still in the works, and we have two other major projects that are in discussions right now for the Nestle's property, the former Nestle's property, and one is manufacturing and one is mixed use. And these are very viable projects that we think are going to we have real good potential for that area. So we're in discussions now with that, and we think something's going to come to fruition there here real soon. So those are in the works right now. And then there's other projects at both ends of the city that, because of, I really truly believe, because of DRI and the momentum that's happening in the city, we have almost daily businesses reaching out to us interested in properties throughout the city. So we have a major project at the other end of the city coming in from the north that we're working on a deal right now with the sale of some property. It's a significant expansion. So at both bookends, if you will, of the city, we have some major development opportunities that are happening and will continue to develop as we go. So I think there's real potential in these areas. And I think, you know, one project feeds another. And I think there's real synergy between the projects and the proposed projects. So it's exciting to see. It's also real opportunity for all these other projects that are being considered. At the same time, we're in the midst of starting our comprehensive plan. And several of you here have been involved with that. So we're moving forward with our comprehensive plan committee. That started, and doing some training on with planning, zoning, and the codes department, so that we're ready for some, you know, for this work as it comes forth. So there's a lot of moving parts right now to again, to continue to create that synergy in all of our initiatives and make sure we're all looking at this through, you know, that same set of lenses, if you will, when we're talking DRI. How is DRI connected to all of this, and how is all of this connected to DRI? So that's really what we've been doing. And I think that that's, you know, just an important to note as we're looking at all these projects, especially this one for development.
In case everybody wants to have more discussion about this project, Julie and I discussed this, and we kind of see these four projects in two banks procedurally. So for the removal of the Canal View Mall, the increasing the fund to $750, and changing the scope of Adam Avery's project, we feel that could be a general all in favor say aye kind of vote. And so what I'm going to do is I'm unmuting everybody. So everybody should be unmuted right now. No, it's slowly happening, I think. I see a bunch of people muted, but everybody should be unmuted. Okay, yeah, it's going down the list slowly. So I'm gonna ask everybody in favor of the increase in the fund to $750, changing the scope of Adam Avery's project, and removing Canal View Mall from the Downtown Vibe project, please say aye.
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 Are there any nays? No.
Sarah, I have to abstain because Adam Avery is a member of our organization.
No problem. Thank you very much for that.
And also, Sarah, I will as well. I don't have any financial gain necessarily, but I do represent him.
Okay. That is great. So those three will be updated in our plan. Again, there's not much change with those projects. I will ask one more time if anybody would like to discuss 533 South 4th Street. If anybody else has anything to say, if not, I'm going to open it up to a roll call vote on that one, because that will require the slate to be everybody will be sent a slate. You'll have to re-sign the slate of projects because it is a large change in number. So the question at hand is, would you like to include the new proposed amount for 533 South 4th Street? So that would be a $12 million project with a $2 million DRI ask. As a reminder, the original DRI recommendation was $916,000 for an approximate $5,000 project, $5 million project, sorry. Mayor.
I think this is a great project, and I am very excited that Chris Pisani and his team are looking to continue to invest and grow in our community, and I'm excited to see the final project. But at this time, I do not support the increased ask. I would like to keep it at the original project.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Patrick?
I agree with Mayor. Absolutely.
Wait, is that a yes or?
Keep it as it, keep the project.
Keep it as is, okay. Mike Treadwell?
Well, it's either A or B.
Yeah.
I would split the difference and increase it to 1.5. But if that's not a vote, then I would go with the mayor and keep it as is.
I guess I could raise that question. This gets it more of a discussion.
Well, that building, I mean, I think is probably one of the most critical buildings coming into Fulton to make it into a productive, useful. It's been a pain for the whole time since Nestle, because no one has been able to do anything with that building. You got a good developer that I think would do an excellent job on it. And I can't think of any other structure along 481 that's more important than that facility to get put in productive use. And a combination of a mixed-use facility with some retail. I'm okay with the office maybe going away, but I think it's an opportunity. I mean, to get a $12 million project for $1.5 million investment, I think it's pretty damn good for the city.
Should I start at the top and have 3 choices that everybody could vote on? This is a discussion, so I don't know if anyone else wants to pipe in and see if they like a 3rd choice.
I think it's healthy that the LPC knows, Sarah, then that there can be some opportunity to propose other options. So I think I appreciate you doing that, Mike, and giving us more opportunities to choose from, because then it's not just an A and B, and maybe it's a meet in the middle.
Okay, then we'll start at the top. Mayor Michaels, 2 million, 1.5 million, 900,000.
When we originally set off, we said, upwards of 14 million is what we wanted to propose to the state. We're coming in at almost 13, just below 13, I believe it is, at the slate of projects the way it is now. And I would support looking at this project, because I agree with Mike that this is a critical project. I would agree with not the full 1.1 million increase, but meeting it halfway.
Okay, so that would be a DRI recommendation of 1.5 million, which would probably bring the DRI fund total to around 13.6 million.
And that gets us right in the range where we wanted to be when we submitted our projects.
Yes. Okay, Councilor Patrick.
Support halfway.
Halfway, okay. Mike, we know you support halfway. Was your request?
Yes, ma'am.
Carolyn?
I also support meeting in the middle. I like the 1.5.
Thank you. Jeff, I don't know if you're able to speak. I know you couldn't speak before.
I think 1.5 million is reasonable.
Thank you. Kristen?
The 1.5 option is good.
Okay, Kim, I tried. I don't know if you're on. No? Okay. Brian Durant? Still not on. Linda? I know she was having trouble with the reception. She said in the chat that she was fine with all of the proposed changes. So I'm gonna put her down with going along with whatever the majority is. Jim left. Nancy Fox.
1.5 is fine.
Leah?
Makes it easy for me because I want the last vote.
I agree with meeting in the middle. I think it's a good halfway point to keep our
Great.
goals on track.
Thank you. Brittany?
Yes, I agree with the 1.5. Good idea, Mike.
Dave and Marie, one at a time.
Marie says 1.5 is fine.
Sarah, same issue. I'm going to abstain there, remember.
Okay. And again, when you get the updated ballots, you'll have the option to abstain from whichever projects you are unable to vote on. Mike Pollock?
I'm okay with it. I'm good with a compromise.
Thank you. Ryan Polvino, I know, had to jump off. It didn't seem like he had any major issues at the beginning. Mark?
Yeah, the 1.5 is a good solution, I think.
Thank you. Tina Stevens?
I agree with the majority. I think 1.5 is a great idea.
Katie? You're abstaining?
I'm abstaining, and Camp Menkowitz.
David Turner said he's having audio connection issues, but he supports the compromise. Nancy Weber?
I agree with the compromise.
Great. And Robert, you are correct. You are the last one.
How about that? I can wait. I also agree with the 1.5.
Okay. That went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to go. So the next steps with this vote is that I will be preparing a new slate for all of you. We'll have the updated rounded numbers on it. You'll go through the same exercise that you did at our last LPC meeting. But according to this vote, the overwhelming majority is okay moving forward. Actually, everybody who voted is okay with going forward with the 1.5 million recommendation for Building 30 or 533 South 4th Street. I'll be emailing you the updated ballots. And again, on the ballots, you will be able to mark which projects you are abstaining from voting. It's only one vote on the whole slate. And
Sarah, this is Julie. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why. You know, I dialed in with my phone, and for some reason, it was not on mute, but and I never have a problem with that. Somehow it was locked. But anyway, I just wanted to point out with this compromise amount, I think it's important to go back to the project sponsor and see what that would mean. Having, you know, if he had 1.5. Would he still be able to do the entire project at one time as proposed with the 2 million request, or would it still be a phased project? I think that'll be important, obviously, for the project profile that you write up, but also to share with the committee in terms of what that means for the project sponsor being proposed at 1.5.
I agree, and I'll go back to Chris, and then I could give an update to the LPC when I send the new slate out.
Okay. And I'd also just like to acknowledge, you can probably see it on your screens, but Patricia O'Reilly from HCR is also on. I don't think we had a chance to announce Patricia at the beginning of the meeting.
Hi, Patricia. Hi, Patricia. Sorry if I left you out.
Hi, no worries.
But if there are any questions regarding the fund and the increase in COVID related, I'm sure Patricia could address those.
Absolutely.
Well, Patricia, why don't you just give an overview of how what the fund covers is, I guess, changing with this new cap? If you can speak in general terms.
Sure. Yeah. So we technically haven't finalized the document per se, but generally, we're still looking at a focus on capital projects and larger projects, but really the outline is projects that will help maintain resiliency and sustainability for businesses or buildings. So, we're still looking for, ideally capital projects are best, but obviously machinery and equipment, especially in the relation of needing to kind of change or revamp your business in the post-COVID days, as well as any type of social distancing measures, things like that. So obviously a wide variety of options for implementation to support a post-COVID climate. But just to identify a few ineligible activities: general working capital, rent, utilities, salaries, things like that would not be eligible to be covered by the fund. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Patricia. I also just let someone into the room. I don't know if it was someone who previously was in and got kicked out, who just entered. I see you trying to talk, but I can't hear you.
Sarah?
Yes.
That was me. You had put me on hold apparently, which is why I lost the audio, and now I'm back.
I didn't put you on hold, but I'm glad you're back.
That's the message I got.
Would you like to?
That's the message I received.
Oh, really? Okay, I apologize for that. If I did inadvertently,
right.
I did not mean to. This
problem.
is Dave Turner, right?
Yes.
So would you like to out loud say your vote? If you were able to hear, what we ended up voting on was a compromised amount for Building 30, which was 1.5 million. I don't know when you dropped out. So the option is if you support the 2 million, the 1.5, or the original amount, which was 916,000.
No, I'm all in favor of the compromise. I love a compromise.
Great, thank you. As discussed, I'll go back to the project sponsor and see what form the project will be in with that 1.5, and get back to you guys when I send the new slate of projects that you'll be voting on, and you need to resubmit that to Julie. We'll get that done. I'm going to open up my screen again, share my screen. We are almost done. I'm not going to keep you past 4 o'clock unless you really want to. Oh, I do not know what just happened. Hold on 1 second. Oh, and I did not mean to start. Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. I know you're seeing all of this in real time. So really the last thing to discuss is the upcoming milestones for this project. We don't have any hard dates tied to this, but you'll be able to see what the next steps are. So we will be hosting a virtual public meeting for everybody. The date has not been determined, but just as at our previous public meetings, or actually more so, there will be detailed information on all of the projects on this proposed slate that we are presenting to the state in the strategic investment plan. So you and the residents and any other attendees will be able to get an in-depth look at the projects that are on the slate from that meeting. And with this meeting, all comments could be submitted either on our website, fultondri.com, or through an email address that was set up, which is fultondri@gmail.com. All comments will be forwarded, they'll be compiled by me and then forwarded to the LPC. I won't be forwarding you 20 emails. We'll get a summary of the comments that come in, if any come in.
And Sarah, can I just say here, because we are streaming this live on Facebook, there were some technical difficulties in the beginning. Those who are watching on Facebook, that is not the link that you will get. You will get a professionally done presentation that will come out in a link from Sarah Oral. It'll not be the link to the Facebook Live. So they'll have a cleaner version of the presentation available to them.
Of today's meeting?
Of today's meeting.
Yes, I don't know how professional it is, but this presentation
looks a lot better than my Facebook Live. Let's put it that way.
This meeting has been recorded, and the link to the recording can be found on the meetings tab of fultondri.com. It is not yet posted because the meeting is not yet done, but I will be posting it later this evening. So anyone who's attending on the live stream, if you would like to rewatch, please feel free to go to fultondri.com onto the meetings tab, and there is a link that will get you to a YouTube page that will have a recording of this meeting.
Thank you, and thank you to the community for their patience with the live version.
Thank you for live streaming it. That was a great offering for the people of the community. So the next step is the draft strategic investment plan is in the process of being completed. We need some of this last information so that we could finalize project profiles, and we will be turning that into the state for review, and the state will be giving that back to us. We will make any changes, and then we will give the draft to the LPC. There will be a quick turnaround on requested comments, but you will have the ability to review the plan, let us know if we've forgotten anything. You know, things are still moving forward up there, and we haven't been up there, so there may be some new developments you want us to talk about. Just when you read the plan, think if there's anything missing or that needs to be changed, and we will make those changes. And then the final plan will be submitted to the state, and the state will select which projects will be funded through the DRI. And after that, it's just moving forward with your revitalized downtown. It's very exciting. We do see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Thank you so much for holding on during COVID-19 while we did have a pause. And, oh, hold on. I just want to see if I'm missing anything. No. Okay. So thank you so much for waiting and for bearing with us during this process. It is moving forward. Thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time today to do this important procedural vote. And thank you for your future involvement in not only the projects, but letting people in the community know that this is still moving forward, and we're so excited to see what happens in the future. So, and thank you, Brittany, for thanking us. Hi. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Again, the recording will be posted on YouTube, the link of which will be on fultondri.com. This is typical of every meeting. I say that about 20 times. fultondri.com, your one-stop place for anything Fulton DRI related, including details on upcoming meetings. So thank you so much. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their afternoon, and I look forward to going through this process with you guys. Thank you.